All right, Times Now has also been able to reach out to Shraddha's neighbors, and Radhika is joining us with more details. This is while Shraddha was residing in Mumbai. What can you tell us about what they have to say? Radhika, take us through those voices.
That's right. I am joined by Aftab's friends / neighbors. In fact, they were living in the neighborhood for the longest time. Aftab's parents were living in this building for quite some time, and they knew the family quite well. I'll just go across to them. So your good name, and what can you tell us about Aftab, his family, his character, his behavior and so on, because you've interacted with them quite a number of times. आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे उनके बारे में? हाँ, नहीं हिंदी.
हाँ, मैं अब्दुल्ला खान बोल रहा हूँ, यूनिक पार्क का सेक्रेटरी हूँ। एक्चुअली वो अभी फिलहाल 2 साल से तो यहाँ पे रहता नहीं था, उसके पेरेंट लोग थे यहाँ, और वो लोग का नेचर तो एकदम अच्छा था, अच्छे से कभी इधर वो लड़के का भी यहाँ सोसाइटी में कभी लफड़ा झगड़ा कभी नहीं हुआ, एकदम शांत स्वभाव का था। बट अभी आगे इतना बड़ा क्राइम किया, वो बहुत घिनौना क्राइम किया, ऐसा तो हम लोग को अंदेशा भी नहीं था।
आपने अभी बोला कि उनका कुछ इधर
लड़की लोग को आना जाना 2 साल पहले मतलब अलग अलग लड़कियों के साथ वो घूमता था, और इस लड़की को भी 1-2 बार वो सोसाइटी में लेके आया था। फिर 2 साल
आप श्रद्धा को देखे हैं?
हाँ, यहाँ पे आती थी वो, उसके साथ में आते थे पहला, जब भी यहाँ से वो लोग जाने के पहले। अभी लगभग 1.5-2 साल पहले से तो यहाँ पे रहते नहीं थे, वो लोग कहीं अलग ही लिविंग रिलेशन में रह रहे थे। बाकी उसके मम्मी पापा यहाँ पे रह रहे थे।
और मम्मी पापा ये रिलेशनशिप से नाराज थे, ऐसा कुछ?
मतलब ये लोग को भी वो चीज एग्री नहीं थे शायद, और लड़की के घर वाले भी उस चीज को नहीं कर रहे थे, इसके लिए लोग अलग जगह रूम लेकर रहते थे।
आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे? आप उससे ज्यादा उनको जानते हैं, और आफ्ताब के पेरेंट्स आफ्ताब को?
हाँ, लेकिन उनके माँ बाप से ही मेरा वाकिफ था। बच्चे हैं, बच्चों से मेरा ज्यादा नहीं था, लेकिन माँ बाप अच्छे थे वो सब। हाँ, बहुत बढ़िया थे। ऐसा उनका कभी ऐसा किसी से झगड़ा बवाल कभी कुछ नहीं हो गया, सीधे साधे लोग थे। बाकी अब बच्चे जो हैं बड़े हो गए जब से, फिर वो जॉब वॉब करने लगे, तो अभी कुछ बोल नहीं सकते अभी।
और आफ्ताब का कुछ वायलेंस स्ट्रीक था पे ऐसे?
नहीं, यहाँ कभी दिखा नहीं ऐसा। एक्चुअली इधर सोसाइटी में कभी आता भी था ना तो किससे बात नहीं करता था। हाँ,
सीधा घर जाता था, वो गाड़ी खड़ी किया तो सीधा घर पे ही जाता था। कभी कंपाउंड में खड़े होकर के ऐसा नहीं देखा गया। मोस्टली हम लोग तो सुबह निकल जाते हैं, शाम को ही आते हैं, फिर भी ऐसे भी कभी ऐसा देखा नहीं वो।
अच्छा, आप कह रहे हैं ऐसा कुछ झगड़ा हुआ फैमिली के साथ या फिर? हाँ।
फैमिली आपस में वो लोग का कुछ कई बार झगड़े हुए थे घर में उनके, बट बाहर नहीं, सोसाइटी में कभी झगड़े वगैरह नहीं हुए।
हाँ, सोसाइटी में नहीं, लेकिन विद इन द 4 वॉल्स।
वो भाई दो भाई थे, वो लोग आपस में कभी लड़ते थे, लेकिन उसमें कैसे सोसाइटी कभी इन्वॉल्व नहीं हुई।
अच्छा। और कुछ जो उनके बारे में कहना चाहेंगे आफ्ताब? उनके
तो पता नहीं है, बट ये जो क्राइम किया उसके लिए हम लोग बहुत हर्ट है, सुनने के बाद बहुत टेंशन है। अब ऐसे में तो उसको सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए, कोई भी हो, जिस तरह उसने बहुत घिनौना किया है।
और अभी उनके पेरेंट्स किधर है? लेकिन क्योंकि पेरेंट्स इधर ही थे, आई थिंक लास्ट वीक तक
इधर ही थे। अभी मुझे भी पता चला है कि ये लोग हाँ कुछ चेंज किए हैं और कहीं दूसरी जगह लिए हैं। वो लोग घर शायद बेच दिए, ऐसा सुना है, रेंट पे दिए हैं।
बात कुछ हुई है आफ्ताब के पेरेंट्स के साथ? क्योंकि वो इसके बारे में कुछ किसी आप
ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
15 दिन ऐसा लोग यहाँ से गए, 15 दिन हुआ, वो घर को रेंट में देके बॉम्बे साइड कहीं गए हैं रहने। अब ये चीज उनके जो जमात खाने वाले हैं ना, उन लोग को मालूम रहेगा।
और आफ्ताब बचपन से इधर ही था?
हाँ, बचपन से बचपन से ही
तो आपके मतलब उनके फ्रेंड्स भी होंगे ना ये बिल्डिंग में शायद? आफ्ताब
में उसके फ्रेंड नहीं है।
अच्छा।
लेकिन आउटसाइड बाहर हैं। ये बिल्डिंग में कोई फ्रेंड नहीं वो बच्चे का। यहाँ पे बोलता हूँ, आता था बाइक खड़ी करके।
Neighbors also, on the face of it, Radhika seems like a very shock to have known that, you know, Aftab could have committed a crime of this nature. Let's see what plays out next. Stay on with us. We have Priyank, Sabyasachi, Akanksha also with us on this broadcast. But here's another very important voice. Times Now also spoke to Shraddha's neighbor. This is Shraddha's friend, a friend who'd also interacted with Aftab on multiple occasions. His name is Rajat, and he in himself has recalled the details of the relationship that Shraddha shared with Aftab. Listen in.
आज अचानक मोबाइल पर न्यूज़ फ्लैश हुआ और दिल दहल गया। मतलब आत्मा काँप सी गई ये देखकर कि किसी का मर्डर हुआ है और वो खुद मेरी दोस्त है। 2019 में हम लोगों को बताया गया था, 2018 से ही ये खबर हो चुकी थी कि वो आ चुकी है रिलेशनशिप में, लेकिन उसने सीक्रेट रखा था 2019 में। अब ये बात ऐसी है कि मुलाकात हुई है उनकी, उसके बाद वो लोगों को साथ पसंद आया तो साथ में ही रहे। अब इसमें कुछ सच्चाई है जो हमको पता चलती है बाहर से, और कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो अंदर से हैं वो हम कभी नहीं जान पाएंगे। अब तो बिल्कुल नहीं जान पाएंगे कि वो क्यों साथ थे। श्रद्धा 2019 में जब धीमे धीमे उसका रिलेशनशिप बाहर आने लग गया तो शुरुआती दिनों में बड़ी अच्छी बातें सुनाई पड़ती थी कि बड़े अच्छे हैं वो लोग, साथ में बहुत खुश हैं, बहुत मैच्योर्ड हैं और अच्छी तरीके से रिलेशनशिप को आगे ले जा रहे हैं। लेकिन बाद में श्रद्धा ने खुद बताना शुरू कर दिया कि मारता है आफ्ताब उसे, काफ़ी वॉलंटियर है।
All right, more source-based information coming in with regards to the ongoing probe, and this is what has come to light, viewers, the gruesome manner in which Aftab committed this heinous murder. Information coming in with regards to how, while several of those small pieces of her dead body were still at the Chhatarpur residence, he was interacting with other women as well. Just after 20 to 25 days post Shraddha's murder, Aftab had invited another girl to his home through a dating application. In fact, he'd hidden on multiple occasions several of her body parts in the cupboard in the flat as well. Sulfur hypochloric acid was also used, which he used to wash the floor so that the DNA sample is not found during forensic examination. It was all pre-planned, viewers. He sat on Shraddha's chest, smothered her during the fight, and this happened bang in the middle of the night. Let me quickly go across to Priyank, Sabyasachi and Akanksha, who are also joining us on this broadcast. If I could quickly come to you, Sabyasachi, these are very, very gory details. And, you know, by the hour, as the probe is intensifying, it is almost turning out to be unbelievable that a man such as him could have gone ahead and murdered his own live-in partner in this gruesome manner.
Well, absolutely. It is the entire incident is completely spine-chilling. The way he has planned, and also while Shraddha's body parts were still inside the flat, he opened an account in Bumble through which he used to call in other women inside his flat. He used to interact with them while the body parts were present inside the flat. And he also used sulfur hypochloric acid to remove the stains from the floor, and so that when the forensic team reaches there, they could not gather the DNA from the spot. And these are the visuals from inside the police station where Aftab is currently in, and in some time the police will be taking him to the crime scene to recover the remaining body parts of Shraddha. And also the details, as per the sources, we are getting to know that while he killed Shraddha, he sat on her chest and he strangled her. These are the details that we are picking from the initial investigation. And also right now the police also will be looking at the electronic gadgets that they have seized from Aftab, and also the Google search history clearly shows that he has been searching that how to remove blood stains and also human anatomy as well. And also he has been looking at criminal series and criminal movies before murdering Shraddha as well. So clearly things are getting heated up, because soon Aftab will be taken out from the police station out here. Anytime he will be brought in from the Mehrauli police station and will be taken to the crime scene in Chhatarpur area. Right now we are standing inside the police station, Mehrauli police station. Through this gate, Aftab will be taken out here to the crime scene in Chhatarpur area, where he has dumped the rest of the body parts of Shraddha.
Absolutely. So the police will be taking him to the crime scene for spot investigation to identify the remaining body parts of Shraddha that he through 18 days disposed of across the Mehrauli forest area and other parts of the national capital. If I could come to you, Priyank, as the investigations continue, Times Now has tried its level best to reach out to several people who knew Shraddha, who knew Aftab. If we talk about the neighbors of Aftab, if we talk about friends of Shraddha who we got in touch with, all of them have one thing to say, that Shraddha initially thought that Aftab was a calm man, he was a responsible and a mature person, and months into their relationship, he started abusing her physically, and that's when she feared this day. She feared this fate.
Yes, Sati, we are trying our level best, and a team of reporters on the ground have been trying our level best to bring out every bit of information regarding the past life and how this crime happened. Because, Amita, this is not a case, this is a case where a normal crime has happened. We are talking about a progressive girl, a graduate individual who took 2 steps forward ahead of what normal individuals do. She wanted to go for an intercaste marriage. That is point number 1. She was a graduate. She was staying alone in Mumbai. She met a person with whom she fell in love with, and apart from the restrictions for the family, she wanted to go ahead with her life. She came to Delhi. They had gone for a tour. So every aspect of Shraddha's life is showing that she was a rebel. She wanted to do something good for her life. She wanted to live her life the manner in which she wanted to do. But unfortunately, the most shocking aspect of this story is that the person to whom she trusted the most, apart from her family member, she left the family member, was the one who killed her. He did not even kill her. He brutally murdered her, chopped her body into pieces. So to talk about the psychological aspect of this modern lifestyle which youngsters are having, which has turned into such an ugly manner that everyone is watching this case so minutely, we are trying our level best to bring out every individual who had any kind of relevance in the life of Shraddha. While coming back to the investigation front, the Delhi police also has a very tough job, because the Delhi police is struggling to gather evidence about a case which has happened 6 months back. The Delhi police is also struggling to gather detailed evidence regarding individuals who well-thought, well-planned manner murdered his partner and then disposed of the body, and everything was chemically clean. So forensically also it's a very tough thing for the forensic scientists who are analyzing and taking out the DNA sample from various swabs which has been given to them. So the case need to move to the court very soon. The Delhi police has 5 days of police remand with them. They will soon be asking for more days of police remand. They have to collect the evidence. They have to collect the skull of the missing body, because all these factors will be very important when the matter goes to the court. And not even that, they are they have a challenge for this from the killer who has been lying time and again. He initially gave different statement to Maharashtra police. In fact, our viewers will be shocked to know that he managed to misguide the Maharashtra police when he was questioned regarding the missing Shraddha. The Maharashtra police, in fact, trusted him, and they did not went ahead and arrested him. It was Delhi police which filed the FIR, and within 1 day, he confessed the crime. So there are several aspects of this investigation. While trying to break down the new input which we are gathering, what I have managed to gather, that he knew what he had to do. He planned things very properly. He had gone to buy a big knife. Later to that, the Delhi police is also expected to record statement of one person whose name is Lakshman, who was friend of Shraddha, and they are also trying to look out for Badri. Badri was the one who suggested them to shift to Chhatarpur area, because he met them during their tour in Uttarakhand, because the couple was in Uttarakhand for a month, and while coming back, he was the one who suggested them. They have to piece together the chain of incident, how she came, how the couple stayed back in a hotel in Paharganj. Then they shifted to Saidullah Jab, and within a daytime they shifted on 10th of May to this rented accommodation. And what went ugly, that within 5 days of time period, Aftab murdered Shraddha. He sat down on her chest, strangulated her after a fight, dumped the body in the washroom area, took out the body the next day. The moment he realized that,
in no way it looks like a fit of rage.
Ask Aftab.
All right, that's Sabyasachi's frame coming in, and I believe there's some movement on at the police station there. Sabyasachi, what's going on?
So we'll try to
आफ्ताब क्यों मारा?
आफ्ताब क्यों मारा? आफ्ताब कुछ कहेंगे? आफ्ताब चलो गाड़ी पे फॉलो पकड़ पड़े इधर गिरा था यहीं पे गिरा था। चलो 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 गाड़ी पे फॉलो गाड़ी फॉलो 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 गाड़ी 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 चल 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 जल्दी जल्दी
श्रद्धा को क्यों मारा? आफ्ताब क्या गुस्सा था श्रद्धा से? आफ्ताब श्रद्धा को क्यों मारा?
आगे बैठो तुम आगे बैठो तुम शॉट बनाओगे चल 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 मुझे माइक दे मेरे को बैक पर चल चल ओके ओके चल 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 चलो चलो मेरा ही बारी हुई अपनी।
All right, so that's Times Now trying to confront Aftab, who is now being taken out of the police station for spot investigations. He's going to be taken to the crime scene for the police to get to the bottom of certain facts, certain questions that they're still looking for answers to, especially with regards to the remaining body parts of Shraddha that were disposed by Aftab in several parts of the national capital, mostly in the Mehrauli forest area. But these are the kind of details coming to light as the police is still continuing investigations on its part. Source-based information coming in with regards to what really transpired on the night of the murder. How in the middle of the night, Aftab sat on Shraddha's chest, smothered her during the fight, thereafter killed her, chopped her into as many as 35 pieces, and for the next 18 days, piece by piece, he picked up some of those body parts, which, by the way, he'd stored in a refrigerator he bought just a day after the crime allegedly took place. He then disposed of all of those body parts in several parts of the national capital. And in fact, Shraddha's blood-stained clothes were put in MCD's garbage van. So those are the kind of details coming to light. We've also spoken to Shraddha's father, extremely heartbroken at the moment, but says nothing less than a death penalty will do. So those are the kind of reactions coming in, and those are the visuals of Aftab being taken for the spot probe from the police station there. Let me go across to Akanksha in the meanwhile to really understand the kind of details that we've been able to piece together the last couple of hours. Akanksha, you were also at in the Mehrauli forest area yesterday, and that's the location, I believe, where Aftab will now be taken, because there are certain body parts of Shraddha that are still missing, and they're very, very crucial to the investigations of what the police can still find out. What are you tracking in the latest, and how is the police planning to go about the probe?
Well, absolutely, we visited that jungle area yesterday from where 12 to 13 pieces of Shraddha's body were recovered. Now, just now, Aftab will be is being taken by the Delhi police there. In fact, this is a residence where that couple used to live together. And day before yesterday, Aftab was also brought by the police here, and that is when the fridge also in which he had kept her pieces was also removed by the police. But right now, the update is that Aftab is being taken to the Mehrauli jungle, where he had disposed a lot of pieces of Shraddha. Now, I must tell you that this is the area where he used to live, and every night at 2 o'clock he used to leave from this area and go to this side to that jungle, which is not more than 1 kilometer from this area. And every night he used to carry at least 2 pieces of Shraddha and go to that jungle area, dispose it off, wait for the next day, go back again. But let me take you to the resident. This is where the couple used to live. They shifted here on 15th of May, and within 3 days Shraddha was murdered. They used to live here on the first floor of this building in Chhatarpur area of the national capital. And as you can see, the There's a lock on the door currently here, and as we showed you yesterday, these are the visuals from inside the residence where this couple used to live together. They shifted on May 15th, and merely within 3 days she was murdered. These are the visuals from inside her residence. That is the area, that is the stand of the fridge where he used to keep her pieces of her body, and this is the floor which he used to clean with chemicals so that no DNA remnants remain, and that is where he used to keep the fridge. Clean it with chemical so that no foul smell emerges from here. These are the visuals coming on your screen from the residence where this couple used to live together here in Mehrauli. But the fact remains is that he was brought here day before yesterday. Right now he's been taken to the Mehrauli jungle, where every day at 2 a.m. he used to leave from this residence, go there and dispose of her pieces.
Okay. So that's the crime spot. Priyank, you know, what Akanksha is telling us really puts things into perspective with regards to how this brutal, gruesome murder was carried out in the middle of the night is when he perhaps murdered Shraddha in the most gruesome fashion, and extremely unbelievable facts coming to light. But with regards to, you know, what happened before that, now, Akanksha is telling us that 15th of May is when they moved to this flat in Chhatarpur, and 18th is what the police is suspecting is when the murder took place. So 3 days into moving into the national capital, the murder took place. What does this tell us? Because questions are also being asked on the aspect on whether or not this was done purposely, whether or not Aftab convinced in a way Shraddha to move to the national capital so he can go ahead with this murder conspiracy.
Yeah, Sati, for 5 days they stayed there because on 8th of May the couple reached here in Delhi, and on 9th of May they stayed at a hotel in Paharganj area. Later to that, on 10th they stayed at the hotel in Saidullah Jab, and that was clearly giving an indication that at some point of time Aftab was thinking about eliminating or killing Shraddha. Later to that, on 10th, when one of the common friend of the couple who they met during the tour in the hills of the northern India, they were camping in Uttarakhand and other places. Badri suggested them that it's better that you should come and stay there in Chhatarpur area because there are multiple call centers which are near the Chhatarpur, because Gurgaon is in a very close proximity from there. Henceforward, both of them came here and they started living there, and within 5 days of time period, Aftab killed Shraddha. Later to that, what happened, he has already been told to our viewers. But what is more shocking, that he kept on going to his office and he used to order food from outside. He was very frequently using all these online delivery food apps to receive food, and he had also put in those flowers and incense sticks right outside the main entrance of the house so that the foul smell of the body should not go. So that was clearly indicating that he had a well thought planned murder. On 18th, when he killed Shraddha, he had gone to a shop which is around 1 kilometer away from the house, if I'm not wrong, and from there he bought a fridge, then he bought a knife, and those plastic bags were also purchased by him, and the body was dumped into pieces. So everything, if you look at it, was well thought and well planned. And even after the murder of Shraddha, he wanted to get rid of it. He did not disclose anything to the family members. And in fact, when the Maharashtra police was investigating this case, he managed to, fool them, and he managed to escape away from their hands. That's how the case was later on transferred to the Delhi police, and within a daytime, within 24 hours, he accepted the crime. But if you look at the pattern of movement and all those friends who he was meeting through online social media apps like Bumble and Instagram, these apps were also frequently used by him, because that app was also used by him in 2019 to meet Shraddha. We exactly don't know that whether he introduced himself as his real name, Aftab Punawala, or some other name, because generally these youngsters keep on changing their names on these social media dating apps. That was also used by him even after murder of Shraddha. Within few days of time period, like on 5th of June, the body's portions were, thrown away by the accused. In between June and July, he kept on meeting those people, and very interesting factor, he met a female friend who had also gone to his house, who was a psychiatrist. So that is clearly giving a picture that apart from looking on the online website, Googling it and putting their queries on YouTube, he also met a person who was a psychiatrist so that he can assess himself, he can present himself, he can disguise himself, he can have a dual character. If you look at the movie series, the web series he watched on social media OTT platform, which was Dexter, which is a 2006 online series of America, where the killer had a dual kind of lifestyle.
Okay.
At house he was different, when he used to go outside he was different.
And
So
that's what his neighbors, people who knew Shraddha very closely but had interacted with Aftab a couple of times, also say that on the face of it he seemed to come across as a mature, responsible person who's mentally also very calm. Stay on with us, Priyank. You know, these are the visuals coming in from the crime scene, the live visuals of the police having now taken Aftab to the crime spot. Now, this is the spot investigation that they're going to be carrying out, perhaps asking Aftab as to where did he dispose of the remaining parts, the body parts of Shraddha. And those are the live visuals coming in. So we'll keep up with that frame. We'll try and go across to Sabyasachi in just a bit as well. But Priyank, with the kind of details that we have been able to unearth, one thing that is also very, very clear is that through all of this, and that's the audacity that is of utmost under utmost question here, is the kind of the fashion in which the murder was carried out, and the behavior that followed. Because like you've been telling us, like several of our colleagues have been telling us, after the murder, after having stored the remains of Shraddha in that refrigerator under question, he kept ordering food online. He was staying in that very apartment for the next so many days. In fact, details also emerging of how he kept meeting several girls in that very flat who he interacted with on these social media dating applications. So very, very shocking and almost unbelievable. Priyank.
Yeah, certainly, because this social media application and all these online dating sites was also used by Aftab before the death of Shraddha as well as after the death of Shraddha. So if you look at an individual who works in the call center in a very good environment, probably because these are the environment employee friendly location where the youngsters go and they get earning. He was working even after killing Shraddha in such a manner, and he did not stop there. He kept on meeting friends. In fact, I have detail of fourth female friends.
Unbelievable and very shocking. These are the live visuals coming in, and the media also very angry at the moment, trying to take questions from Aftab, and those are the confrontational sequences that we're picking up from the crime spot as the police is trying to take him away. But a lot of media presence there, and some very straightforward questions being put out by several journalists who are tracking Aftab, the accused number one in this very case. And the first question that most of them have to ask him is, why did he go ahead and commit such a gruesome, brutal murder? Murder most foul is how, we're calling it since yesterday, because the fashion in which he went ahead with the murder in the middle of the night, how he sat on her chest, how he strangled her and thereafter cut her body into 35 pieces, brought a refrigerator, stored the mortal remains, those chopped pieces in the refrigerator for the next 18 days till he picked up piece by piece, bit by bit, some of those body parts to dispose them off across the national capital. And this is the Mehrauli forest area where currently the police has taken Aftab for spot investigations, and a lot of media presence currently there, and everybody asking one question in one voice as to why did Aftab do this, and what was the need of this kind of a gruesome, brutal murder of an innocent young girl who just fell in love with him and moved in with him, fighting her family, taking on her family. And that's the question really that comes to light, Priyank, isn't it? Here's a girl. All right, let's cut across live. We're also picking up some audio from the live spot, so we'll go across to that, then I'll come to you, Priyank.
पुलिस के साथ में
हेलो 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 आफ्ताब अपना शक्ल क्यों छुपा रहे हैं?
हम काम नहीं कर पाएंगे प्लीज, हमें कुछ काम करना है। बड़ा है जंगल है, कितने दायरे में, बस इतना बता दीजिए। जंगल काफी बड़ा है प्लीज, हम अब आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज लेट अस डू आवर वर्क। कितना समय लग सकता है इस सड़क को चलाने में? अभी टाइम लग रहा है, काम नहीं कर पाएंगे प्लीज, हमें कुछ काम करना है। कितना बड़ा है जंगल है, कितने दायरे में, बस इतना बता दीजिए। कई किलोमीटर में, कई किलोमीटर का दायरा है। आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज लेट अस डू आवर वर्क। कितना समय आपको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ये बताइए अभी आप कितने अंदर तक जाएंगे? क्या बताया आफ्ताब ने जंगल के बारे में? आफ्ताब ने क्या बताया सर यहाँ पर क्यों लेकर आए हैं सर आफ्ताब को? सर क्या सीन रिक्रिएट करने में लाया गया है?
Throw pieces of Shraddha here, as you can see, these are the visuals from the jungle where he has been brought by the Delhi police. Now remember, 12 to 13 pieces have already been recovered by the Delhi police, and now he's been brought here again. Now that the police has 5 days custody of him, he's been brought here, and as you can see, media personnel are not being allowed to go ahead. But as you can see, he is being questioned by the Delhi police, being asked where all he threw the pieces of Shraddha here. Now remember, he used to come out every day at 2 a.m. to dispose of the pieces of Shraddha. He had cut her body into 35 pieces, and as you can see, he's been taken deep into this jungle of Mehrauli and being questioned by the police.
लेकर आगे जाएंगे। अब जो
go ahead from this point.
देखिए, हम आपको जंगल के अब पुलिस यहाँ बैठ गई और इसके अंदर
where he used to come here at 2 a.m. every night and throw her pieces. Now remember, we also reported from this spot yesterday where we showed you that 12 to 13 pieces have already been recovered by the police of Shraddha's body, but he had cut her body. As you saw in the visuals, he was hiding. Put for question, why was he hiding? Is he ashamed of the deeds that he had committed? But to answer his face.
Okay, so a little bit of trouble with the Akanksha's line, who's currently at the crime spot in Mehrauli, the forest area, where the police officials are now with Aftab walking around, investigating, conducting inspections in that particular area, and perhaps putting out those tough questions to him and asking him directly in as many words as to what are those pockets in the Mehrauli forest area which Aftab used to dispose of Shraddha's body. Priyank also continues to stay on with us. Yes, Priyank, you know, these are the visuals coming in at the moment, and this probe is going to go on for the next couple of days, because what's also lined up is the two friends who tried to reach out to Shraddha, and it is them who first found out that Shraddha's phone is not reachable, that they've not been able to contact her for the past 2 months, and it is then that they informed Shraddha's parents about the same. Thereafter, Shraddha's parents went ahead and filed a missing complaint with this very issue. So this is how the entire timeline looks like, and that's exactly why the questioning of those two friends is also of utmost importance, and that's likely to happen next as well.
months is the process of Delhi police to gather all those remains of the body. We are talking about multiple pieces of the victim's body, although these are the very gory details which were thrown by Aftab, and he used to carry them in a plastic carry bag, which he had also purchased from the same shop from where he had purchased the knife, the interview which we have shown it to our viewers. And that particular bag was taken by him to these forest area, and you'll be shocked to know that he used to dump the pieces and bring back the plastic bag so that the body pieces should be there in open so that the animals can eat them, and there should be no possibility because of which only the bones can be left and the body cannot be identified. We are talking about a very heavily crowded and congested area which is very near to the forest from where Akansha was reporting earlier, and right now she is also there on the spot. What we have got to know that he had chopped the body into around 35 pieces, but the skull of the deceased, the skull portion is still missing, and that is the only thing which can certainly, apart from the DNA samples, is a very important piece of the forensic evidence if the police has to get conviction for the accused when the matter will be tried to the court. The cops are pretty much determined that they want the strictest punishment for the accused, and when we spoke to the victim, deceased father early in the day, he also wants death penalty, but that is not enough. If you see in the recent case of Negi, who was brutally assaulted and killed by these monsters, Supreme Court has acquitted them because there was only circumstantial evidence. So in this particular case, the Delhi police is certainly not in the position to go ahead with the circumstantial evidence. They need to have all those forensic corroboratory evidence to the point which they have made. We know that Aftab is a person who has been a serial liar. He managed to convince the Maharashtra police. He escaped away from the hand of Maharashtra police. It was Delhi police which finally arrested him after on the basis of confession. But confession is not the only thing which will lead this case to a big and harsher punishment
no
for the
one
accused.
having come across the manner in which Aftab for 18 long days at 2 a.m. carried those body parts to several parts of the national capital to dispose them off, including in this Mehrauli forest area. Akanksha is also now back with us. Akanksha, what's going on there?
Well, absolutely. As you saw just moments ago, he was brought here to the jungle of Mehrauli. We are not allowed to go beyond this boundary wall, but this is where he has been taken. Now, remember, he used to come here every night at 2 o'clock, dispose some parts of a body. Now, remember, he had cut them into 35 pieces, taking pieces one by one. He used to come here at night and dispose them here, and used to look forward to the next day, again come back with a plastic bag in his hand and come to this area. Now, remember, yesterday police was able to recover 12 to 13 pieces of his of Shraddha's body from this location, but as my colleague Priyank was mentioning, her skull is still missing, and that's why police is on the hunt. That's why Aftab has been brought here. He will be taken to different locations in this jungle, and police will try to locate where other parts of her body are. He threw them in different area of this jungle. We are trying to go inside this place where he had likely threw the pieces of her body, but this is the area where the police has taken him in a bid to recover more and more parts of the body. Now remember, he had told the police that he cut her body. He's firstly strangled her, cut her body into 35 pieces, used to come out every night, throw them here in the jungles of Mehrauli, not more than 1 kilometer from his residence. So he used to come out at 2 a.m. every night, walk till here in this dense jungle of Mehrauli and dispose them here one by one. We'll try to get inside this jungle and find out where the police has exactly taken them. But as you can see from the visuals, this jungle is quite dense. He's been taken inside. The skull is still missing along with several other parts, and the police is currently trying to locate him. That's why Aftab has been brought here.
Absolutely. So the police, apart from carrying on with the spot investigation, will also be questioning the couple's common friend, also the women who visited Aftab days after he committed this murder. So those are the kind of probe details that are now coming to light. But Akanksha, any idea or any word that you've been able to pick up from the police personnel present there on, what is it that they're going to be doing next? Are they going to be taking back Aftab?
Right now we try to speak to the police, and we also try to speak to the accused as well, but he was hiding his face. As you saw on your screens, he was covering his face with his hands and was not speaking to the media. Likewise, the police is not divulging anything to the media, at least right here. They refuse to speak to media, and I would request my camera person to show that beyond this point, beyond a boundary wall, media was not allowed to go inside. But Aftab has been taken deep inside this jungle area in Mehrauli, and police is on a hunt to locate other parts of Shraddha's body, as he has confessed that he had broken them into 35 pieces. By far, police is able to recover only 12 to 13 pieces, as we reported from this only spot yesterday. But as you can see, this jungle is here is quite dense, and just imagine, every night he used to come here at 2 o'clock when nobody in his neighborhood also noticed. We spoke to a lot of people there, and they said that they never actually saw him come out at 2 o'clock. That is when he used to come in these deep jungles of Mehrauli and go about disposing different parts of a body day by day. He used to come carrying a polythene in his hand and dispose them right here. By far, the police is saying that skull is missing, and that is what police is currently looking for. That is why he's been taken. This is the boundary wall beyond where he was taken by the police just moments ago, and the police is inquiring where else he hid the other parts.
The skull, of course, very key and crucial to the ongoing probe. Akanksha, is the police also going to take him to other parts in the national capital after this?
Visuals दिखाते रहो. अच्छा. See, this is the boundary wall. I would request my camera person to show just visuals beyond this boundary wall. This is where police has taken Aftab. As you can see, these are the deep jungles of Mehrauli where he's been taken. Yesterday we showed you visuals of this area where police had brought him even before this, and that is when they located 12 to 13 parts of a body. As you can see, police is standing there, not allowing media to go beyond this boundary wall, and that is where Aftab has been taken. We tried to confront him. We asked him whether he's ashamed of the deeds that he had committed and as to why did he kill his girlfriend, but he was hiding his face with both of his hands, and there was no remorse on his face. Police by far here is not divulging any information. They're saying that they're trying to inquire talk to him about where all he had hid the body parts, because remember, he used to come here every night at 2 o'clock for next 18 days. He used to come here. He had murdered her in a cold-blooded manner on May 18th, cut her body into 35 pieces, and over the span of 18 days he hid her body in a refrigerator that he bought a day after he committed the murder, and he used to clean the refrigerator with a chemical so as to avoid any foul smell coming out of it. Then one by one he used to bring pieces to this jungle here in Mehrauli, dispose them off here. That shows that that the entire thing was in fact planned. But right now the Delhi police is trying to find the skull of the victim, and that is why he's been taken inside these jungles of Mehrauli, and the police is trying to ask him where all he hid it here in the jungle, because he confessed to the police that he cut them into 35 pieces, threw them all across this area. 12 to 13 pieces have been recovered, but a lot other pieces are still there, still scattered in this area, and it is very important that the Delhi police finds them for evidence purposes.
All right, Akanksha, keep talking to us. These are very important visuals, very key to the ongoing investigations as well, and the kind of details that we've been picking up the last couple of hours on how Aftab was very active on the dating app as well. After the murder, there was a woman who visited the same very flat in which some of those body parts of Shraddha were kept. right after the murder. Those are the kind of details coming to light, and also details with regards to how he tried to cover it up all, how he tried to use chemicals to clean the floor, chemicals to make sure that the refrigerator in which her body parts were stored did not start smelling bad. So all of those things were all pre-planned by Aftab. He had it all in place, and now the testimony is coming in from the other witnesses, his friends, their common friend, the woman who visited his flat after the murder while her body parts were still stored in the refrigerator. All of that is going to be very, very crucial.
What is more shocking that even after committing this murder, he ordered from a delivery app, went down, collected that order, and a few days after that, he also invited a female friend to his residence, even as a few of her body parts were still there in the fridge. Now, these are the gory details of this murder case. What is more shocking is that this all appears to be pre-planned, as was also claimed by the father of the victim. He said that it appears to be pre-planned because he had carried a chemical with him to clean the floor so that no DNA evidence is there. He cleaned the refrigerator with a chemical so as to avoid any foul smell emanating from there. And that is why neighbors of that area had no idea that such a grisly murder was committed in May earlier this year. We spoke to them and they said that they had never ever seen the girl. They had seen the boy a few times when he came down to collect the delivery package, but other than that, he was never ever visible, or he never used to speak to anyone. So he concealed the fact that he murdered his own lover in a very well-planned manner, and that is why neighbors, along with the family of the victim, are seeking strictest punishment for Aftab. And currently, he's been brought here in the jungles of Mehrauli. He's been taken to different places. Now, this is a very thick jungle, so we cannot see beyond a certain point. But as you can see, the police is standing here guarding this boundary wall. We're not asked to. We've been asked to not to go beyond this point, and that is when he's been taken. He had disposed 35 pieces. Now remember, 35 pieces he had disposed of here, and he's been taken. He's been asked where all he had threw them, whether they're still there, and that is why he's been taken around this area to find out where all those pieces currently are. He used to come here at 2 a.m. every night. Now remember, this happened 6 months ago, and that is why he will be brought here again and again in order to establish. He'll be taken in and around the area to find out where he threw them in the middle of the night. This is a very dense forest of Mehrauli. Just imagine he used to come here at 2 a.m. every night with a plastic bag in his hand, throw them off here and go back, wait for the next day, come back here again with another plastic bag, and then throw some pieces of a body. And this went on for 18 days, as you can imagine. But right now, all the facts are out and open. The can of worm has opened, and now he's being questioned in connection with this case.
Absolutely. Stay on with us. Those are the visuals from the Mehrauli forest area. The police, of course, guarding that boundary, not really allowing media personnel to fall in thereafter, and understandably so, because it's very, very important for the police to in time collect the perhaps last remains of the evidence that are left to really get to the bottom of this case. But with regards to the pattern that Aftab followed, Akanksha, for 18 long days, every day, early in the morning, wee hours, at 2 a.m. to be precise, he used to carry some of those pieces, dispose them off in these very jungles of Mehrauli and elsewhere as well. Now, one question is, of course, how is it that no one through those 18 days was suspicious of a similar pattern being followed day in and out? And secondly, was also an impression given to his friends, to her family members, that she was still alive? Was he also using her phone to message Shraddha's friends? Was he paying her credit card bills? Was all that also going on parallelly, Akanksha?
Well, it appears that he was trying to conceal it very nicely. First of all, he tried to conceal the foul smell by using chemical in the fridge and also wiping the floor so that neighbors don't come to know. Secondly, he tried to hide it away from the family as well as friends as well by speaking to them on social media and making sure that they know that she's alive and still there. Thirdly, by paying her credit card bills, he made sure that everything in her life is sorted and nobody gets to be aware of this murder that he has committed in May. So he tried to conceal it very nicely, starting from the way he cut her into 35 pieces. He used to come here at night. He knew that nobody would be around this area at 2 a.m. and that is why he chose that time specifically. He knew that nobody would be there in his locality also looking at him. That is why he chose 2 a.m.'s time to come out of his house and come to these jungles of Mehrauli to actually dispose of her body. Secondly, he tried to clean everything with a chemical, starting from the floor to the fridge, to make sure that nobody doubts her. And we also spoke to the neighbors of that area, and they said that after May, they also heard loud sounds of music coming out of that house. A few kids also saw his friends also at the house drinking, partying, eating. So he made sure that everyone believes that everything in that house is normal and nothing bad has happened. After that, he made sure that he speaks to the friends over social media. But we went through the social media of the victim, and the last time she posted was on May 11th. And over the time, and that is why I think the friends got a little suspicious, because her phone was switched off and they tried to reach out to her. When they couldn't, they approached the family, and that is when this whole can of worm opened. The family was told about this whole issue, that she was not contactable, and then the family approached the police, and that is when the complaint was filed, FIR was filed, and this whole issue came to light, and he was arrested by the police, and he himself told the police about the murder. But today, when he was brought here, he was covering his face with both of his hands, visibly looking ashamed of the bad deed that he has committed. Now he's been taken inside these jungles of Mehrauli. He's been, as you can see, this is very thick jungle, so we cannot see beyond a certain point. We don't know how far the police has taken him, but it appears that he will be asked where all he threw these pieces. He was earlier also brought here, and that is when police recovered 12 to 13 pieces of Shraddha's body. They have been sent for examination so as to establish that it's her body parts only, but other parts, the police is trying to locate other parts as well, and that is why Aftab has again been brought here with a cloth on his face. He was trying to cover his face with his hands. Police right now here is not divulging anything about the entire thing, but the fact remains is that he has been brought here, taken deep inside this jungle, where he threw all her body parts, and then he will be one by one questioned where all he threw them.
Akansha, detailed account that has been given by Akansha there. We are also having Sabyasachi joining us, because we are looking at a police team there, and the questions that have been put forth to Aftab are very pinpoint questions. Sabyasachi, why exactly are you hiding your face? What do you have to that remains to be hidden now, and especially to locate the remaining pieces and the body parts of Shraddha, because it seems that her skull and other body parts are still missing. Sabyasachi.
Well, absolutely. Straight away, pinpointed question were asked to Aftab. And let me show you the visuals out here. You can see Delhi police is here at the spot. And currently, Aftab is being taken at the crime scene, where every night he used to come here at around 1, 2 a.m. and dump the body parts of Shraddha. So you can see the terrain across here. This is a Mehrauli jungle. And every day after the gruesome murder of Shraddha, and after he had chopped his body parts, he used to bring those body parts here at the Mehrauli jungle and used to dump them here. And around 12 body parts have been collected, and you can see the entire terrain of this particular area. It's completely jungle area, and he used to dump the body parts across this area of Mehrauli jungle. So you can see wherever the camera pans out is just thick jungle across, and every night at around 1 a.m. 2 a.m. he used to come here to dump the bodies. And while he was being taken out from the police station, we straight away asked him clear-cut question: what was the motive, what was the intention of killing Shraddha? Because the evidences that are coming forth, and also he being installing a dating site just after 20 to 25 days after the gruesome the killing of Shraddha, clearly shows the mindset that this cannot be an accidental killing. This has to be a motivational killing and a pre-planned killing, because the Google Jungle history clearly shows that he had thoroughly searched histories of how to remove the stain, blood stain from the spot so that the DNA won't be collected. He also used chemicals like sulfur hypochlorite to remove the stains, to clean the refrigerator so that when the forensic team reaches the spot, they cannot collect the DNA. So right now inside this particular area, Mehrauli jungle, Aftab is being taken by the Delhi police to find out the remain body parts of Shraddha. He has been taken inside by the Delhi police. This would be around 1.5 to 1.8 kilometers away from the Mehrauli police station, and every night he used to come here. You can understand at night this complete area will be completely dark. There is no light at all. There's thick jungle across this area, and every night he used to come to dump Shraddha's body out here.
So we are looking at just one particular place there. I mean, in the thick forested or the ridge area of Mehrauli, Sabyasachi, because what is being said that there are other objects as well that are still missing. If you talk about the murder weapon, apparently a machete and certain knives that were used, that is still missing. The phone of Shraddha that she used to use, that is what her friends have also been saying, that she had gone incommunicado, she was out of reach, and her phone was always switched off.
Well, absolutely. See, the murder weapon is also missing, and that's why the police have brought Aftab in this particular area, because they want to understand the crime scene as to which are the areas where Aftab has dumped the body parts of Harsha as well as the body parts